Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you I told you these things? And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders.
E una delle cose che più mi ha colpito di voi giovani, di questi qui, no? È la capacità del dialogo interreligioso.
One of the things that struck me about all of you here is your ability to engage in interreligious dialogue.
E questo è molto importante.
And this is very important.
Perché se voi incominciate a litigare, la mia religione è più importante della tua, la mia è la vera, la tua non è vera, dove ci porta questo?
Because if we start to fight amongst ourselves and saying, my religion is more important than yours, my religion is true, yours is not, where will that lead us?
Dove?
Where will it lead us?
Qualcuno risponda, dove?
Someone respond. Where would it lead us? Distruzione.
È così. E ci vuole litigare.
Yes, it's okay to discuss and to...
Tutte le religioni sono un cammino per arrivare a Dio.
Because every religion is a way to arrive at God.
Sono, dirò una comparazione, sono come diverse lingue, diversi idiomi per arrivare lì.
Sort of a comparison, an example would be they're sort of like different languages in order to arrive at God.
Ma Dio è Dio per tutti.
But God is God for all.
E come Dio è Dio per tutti, noi siamo tutti figli di Dio.
And if God is God for all, then we're all sons and daughters of God.
Ma il mio Dio è più importante del tuo.
But my God is more important than your God.
È vero quello?
Is that true?
C'è un solo Dio lì. E noi sono idiomi, cammino, lingue per arrivare a Dio.
There's only one God, and each of us is a language, so to speak, in order to arrive at God.
Qualcuno è Sikh, qualcuno musulmano, qualcuno
Sikh, Muslim,
Hindi, qualcuno cristiano,
Indo,
ma sono
Christian.
diversi cammini.
There are different paths.
Understood? Ma per il dialogo interreligioso fra i giovani ci vuole coraggio.
In order to have interreligious dialogue among young people, it takes courage.
Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Barakati Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua Bahashem Racha HaKodash Kol Thapa Arath Hawad Wahaloyam La Allahayanawa Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua Bahashem Racha HaKodash. And what I just said in the Lashon Kodash being the ancient Paleo Hebrew, or in other words, the true biblical Hebrew for holy tongue or language. And what I just said is all glory, honor, and praises abundantly and continuously to our power, Yahweh, the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls God, in the name of his only begotten Son, our Savior, our Messiah, our Deliverer, Yahushua HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls Jesus Christ, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching and pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth, to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3, as well as the rest of the elect scattered abroad amongst the heathen nations to the four corners of the earth, east, north, south, and west. To you I say, Shalom. This is your brother Ra'ab Tazadakwa coming back at you again, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, with another lesson. Yahweh Ratazah. It is going to be edifying and encouraging to you, Akim, and any Akwaf that may be listening and or watching. All right, and fair use. I'm not recording this. I'm not, using this media off of YouTube, but nevertheless, going to go ahead and give that fair use notice. I'm not profiting off of this in any way. Fair use is allowed for educational purposes, criticism, and commentary, and the like. Okay, so I'm not profiting off this in any way. I'm going to give credit to the source, the People's Voice. All right, that's, the People's Voice.tv. All right, and you can see the title there. Pope Francis, quote, Satanism is a valid pathway to God, end quote. Now, I don't believe he actually said those words, but the message is correct. The point of it is correct. Okay, because you just heard he was saying that basically all religions lead to the same place. And that's very, very spiritual, because when you understand what the word Catholic means, the word Catholic means universal, because the whole idea there behind Catholicism, Roman Catholicism to be exact, is that salvation can be for anyone. It's available and open for all. That's why it's called Roman Catholicism, meaning universal. It's for anyone. It's for all, And now that Catholicism also is that Catholicism or universalism is applying to all the religions. So not only is salvation open for all, any and all, no matter who your forefathers are, no matter what your lineage, your heritage, your bloodline is, okay, what nation you are of, according to the scriptures. Okay, going back to Genesis, the 10th chapter, you have 16 of the nations. And I think it's Genesis, the 19th chapter. You got Moab and Ammon coming on the scene. I said 16. I meant 14. But you may add them up and whatever. The point is, you got a total of 18 nations in the scriptures. And then, out of those 18 nations, you get sub-nations. But at the top, on the highest level, it's just 18 nations. All right. And so let's say, just for simplicity's sake, you got 14 of them in Genesis, the 10th chapter, commonly referred to as the Table of Nations. And then you have, and I want to say it's Genesis, the 19th chapter. I'm pretty sure it is. You got Moab and Ammon coming on the scene, which are the modern day, Moab being modern day Chinese, and the Ammonites being the modern day Japanese, right? And of course, they were born of incest. Lot with his 2 daughters that got him drunk without his knowledge and were impregnated by him. And that's the reason why they have those, I'm not sure what the technical term is, so I'll just call it slanted eyes. And that is actually a form or I believe the best way to put it is that it's a form of Down syndrome. However, it pretty much is limited just to that. All right. So in other words, they're perfectly normal and perfectly healthy outside of that one physical characteristic, which is a byproduct of those two nations being born of incest. All right. But outside of that, there'd be no real difference. But that's where it comes from. Right. And then you get to Genesis, the 25th chapter, and you have the two nations that are special. All the other nations, they're not special like that. Okay, they're all lumped in together. That's the reason why when you go to the book of Revelation, it talks about the third part of men, right? The third part of men being, telling you that of men that walk on the face of the earth, they can be broken up into three categories, right? And so you have one category, which is all the nations we just talked about. And then you get to the two nations that are special in Genesis, the 25th chapter, and that would be Jacob and Esau. Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Okay, that's Genesis, the 25th chapter, right? And so you got two nations there, and that along with your 14, let's say it's 14 in Genesis 10, and then you got 2 in Genesis 19, that makes 16, and then you got 2 more coming on the scene in Genesis, the 25th chapter, and that's all the nations that are on the face of the earth today. Again, like I said, the nations can be broken up into sub-nations, but no matter how many sub-nations you break a nation up into, it's still just one nation. So all you have on the face of the earth today is 18 nations, because that's all that were created in the book of Genesis. Okay, now those two nations are special. Okay, one is special. This is clearly and very easily borne out in Romans, the 9th chapter. Of one lump, 2 vessels, one unto honor and one unto dishonor. Okay, you can go to Romans, the 19th chapter, Romans, the 9th chapter. I'm not going to go to it because there's a lot of ground I want to cover. I got a lot of things running through my mind, and I'm already having a hard time keeping it organized so I can present it to you in a way that is logically progressive. In other words, it flows together and comes together in a way that's easy to digest, right? Instead of, so I'm already challenged to do that because there's so many things running through my mind, so many precepts and so many angles and so many aspects of how I could go into this. And so I'm wanting to go everywhere, but I gotta focus it and bring it all together to present it in a way that is easy to understand and easy to digest for the benefit and the edification of the lambs and the flock and the sheep of Yahweh Shemashah. So you can go to Romans, the 9th chapter. I'm not going to go there. I'm already going to be pressed to get through everything quite a bit as it is. So Romans, the 9th chapter tells you that there's 2 vessels from one lump, one unto honor and one unto dishonor. Those are the final 2 nations of the 18 nations, and those 2 are special. Okay, the one unto honor is special in righteousness, and you should already know that is the Israelites. And then you have one that is special for the opposite reason, special in wickedness and special in evil, and you have a representative of that nation right there, and you can see the look on his face. Everything is spiritual. Like, I sure hope they believe this this lie I'm telling them, right? And that's the look on his face. But they're special in wickedness. Okay, they're special in wickedness, and that's your 2 nations. And so if you got 2 that are special, but they're special in opposite ways, well then that has to be 2 of your categories, right? The third part of men, telling you there's 3 groups or categories of men. So one group would be those that are special and righteous. A second group would be those that are special in wickedness. And then what's the third group? All the other nations. That's it. Right? So what you just saw here is an example of, I don't know if I want to call it an example. You could put it that way. But look, let me put it to you this way. We are coming down to the wire. We're in the end game, man. We're in the end game because the devil, the slanderer, look up the word devil. You hear the word devil when you think of the spiritual demon Satan. And you say, well, I mean, yeah, that's true. But, I understand sometimes it could be talking about demons, right? You can use it. Yeah, that's true. But what you don't understand is that devil, when you look it up and you get that word in the Greek, it is diabolos, right? And it tells you in there that sometimes it could be talking about a flesh and blood man. Okay. Cue the devil that you see on the screen right there. Okay. It tells you that sometimes it could be talking about a flesh and blood man. All right. And it goes in to give you a somewhat serviceable. Let's drop the somewhat. I was going to say decent. That's why I put the somewhat in front of it, because it's I think it's a bit of a stretch to say it's decent, but it is serviceable, a serviceable definition of what it means to be a devil, a flesh and blood devil. And the word devil, first off, means slanderer, false accuser. It also goes into deceiver, that's your false, slanderer, false accuser, calumniator. Calumniator being one that takes what's good, righteous, holy, and pure, and just, and makes it look bad, dirty, evil, and wicked. All right, and unjust, right? So basically to present what's good as evil. And if you're going to present what's good as evil, you're going to, by necessity, have to present what's evil as good, which takes you to Isaiah 5:20. Woe to them that call evil good, good, and good evil. Woe to them that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, and that call darkness, and that put darkness for light and light for darkness. Evil good, good's evil. Okay, and that's what this man is telling you. And that's why he looks devious. That's why he looks conniving. Conniving is a better word for the look on his face. He looks conniving, right? Because that's what he's all about. Okay, he's turning everything around. But we're at the end because now he's letting it all hang out. This is another way we are very, very close to the end. Okay, this man is letting it all hang out, supporting the alphabet agenda, ABC, XYZ, all of that. And when I say the ABC, I wasn't talking about the alphabet, right? But yeah, he's supporting the alphabet agenda. But I say ABC, and then XYZ, meaning he's letting it all hang out. He's putting it all on the table. He's putting all his cards on the table, and he's spending all the credibility that he has worked to garner, which is false credibility. But he presents himself as a minister of righteousness. And he gets the people to buy in. Esau likes to use this term called building trust or reestablishing trust or whatever, manufacturing trust. Well, then what is he doing that for? Because he just wants people to trust him so he can do them good. No, he wants people to trust them so that he can then utilize that trust to do his wickedness. That's why. Quick precept on that. Sirach 14. All right. This is talking about the man that you see on the screen right here. All right. Not him specifically. In other words, just him, but him and his brethren, the Edomites, the biblical Edomites, those whose lineage, heritage, and bloodline through their fathers goes back to, I was about to say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I wasn't going to say Jacob. I was probably going to say Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, but that's out of habit. Because when it comes to Esau, although Isaac is his grandfather and Jacob is his father, he has been cut off. He has been rejected. He is a reprobate, right? Okay. Lest there be any profane, person such as Esau, who for one morsel sold his birthright, and then found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. That's in the book of Hebrews. If my memory does serve me correctly, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's in Hebrews. I want to say the 7th chapter, but don't quote me on that. You can look it up. This is this man. He's been rejected. Okay, and there is no way back for him. There is no way for him to come back. Okay, he's rejected, and that rejection is permanent. All right. So that's who it's talking about over here in Sirach, the 14th chapter, on the highest level. Yes, it can apply to others, but there is a man on the face of the earth. When I say a man, I'm talking about that man and all his descendants, because the nation of Esau, Edom, could be referred to in the singular or the plural. You see singular, you think, well, that's just talking about one man. Must be the anti-Hamashiach. Let's use the term people use. The Antichrist. Must be talking about the Antichrist, because it says him and he. So it must just be talking about one physical man walking on the face of the earth. No, you're wrong. Ye err not knowing the scriptures. All right? No. Okay? it can the nation of Esau, Edom, can be referred to in the singular because you can call them Esau. And if you're calling them Esau, well, then you can refer to them in the singular. When you speak about Esau, you're speaking about Esau and all those who are his descendants. When you speak about Jacob, you're speaking about Jacob and all those that are his descendants. So the nation of Israel can be referred to in the singular as well. And a lot of times in the scripture it is. You know, Heavenly Father says he's going to have mercy on Jacob. Was it just Jacob and nobody else? You know, just Jacob and, you know, to hell with all his sons? You know, no. When he says he's going to have mercy on Jacob, he's talking about Jacob and all his descendants. Okay. On Israel and all his descendants. See, so this man, so getting back to this, I want to get this, and there's a lot, like I told you, there's a lot of places I want to go with this. So I'm going to try to pick up the pace because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of edification you can bring out of this. And, well, you know, I can't do the lesson all night. He that is evil to himself, there's a man on the planet who embodies this and demonstrates this type of behavior to a degree and on a level to which no one else does. And that is Esau, Edom, the biblical Edomites, the descendants of Esau. All right. He that is evil to himself. Yes, this can apply to other nations. OK, yes, this can apply to even Israelites that are being wicked. OK, but it applies to no one more than it applies to Esau, Edom. It applies to him the most, on the highest level. And that's the level we're talking about here. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself. And this is a recompense, a payment of his wickedness. Okay? And if he doeth good, if he doeth good. Now, let me tell you right now, there is nothing that this man here, and I'm talking about him and all his brethren, does good. Nothing. But if he doeth good, well, it says here, if he doeth good, Rob, so it seems like you're contradicting the scriptures. I'm going to explain in a second. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. He's not doing it just because, he's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart. He's not doing it because he wants to. He's doing it for a reason. He has an angle. All right, a good illustration of this is in chess. All right, I happen to have an appreciation for the game of chess, you know, and, you know, in times past when I've had more time, I would play chess. And I enjoy chess because it's a real thinking man's game, and I like to think, right? And in chess, you have what's called a sacrifice, and you will purposefully allow material, even valuable material, powerful material, to be captured by your opponent, right? But obviously, if you're going to let that happen and you're trying to win the game and you're not trying to lose on purpose, then there must be a reason why. There must be a benefit or a payout in the end. All right. And that's exactly correct. That's why it's called a sacrifice. You allow your powerful, important material to be captured for the purpose of positioning your opponent for the checkmate. Right? That's why it's called a sacrifice. Because in doing so, you're at the very least, you're going to sacrifice because it positions you to capture a more powerful and more valuable piece of your opponent at the very least. But a lot of the times, the sacrifice is for the purpose of obtaining the checkmate. In other words, when your opponent takes that, they just lost. There's no way. There's now no more way for them to win. As soon as they capture your piece, you know, your valuable piece, your powerful piece. As soon as they capture it, they've lost, because now they're in a position where they can't get out, and it's just a matter of time. And that's why when in chess, when somebody captures an opponent, captures a piece that was a sacrifice, the opponent who set it up would say something like checkmate in 4 or checkmate in 5. In other words, I'm going to checkmate you because you fell for it and you took it, All right, you believe that I was doing you good when I let you take that. Now you're going to be checkmated in 4 or 5 moves or whatever it is. Could be 2 or 3 or 7 or 8, but you're going to be checkmated in however many moves it is, and there's no way out of it. And usually at that point, they just knock their king over, and that's the end of the game. There's no point playing it out because there's no way to get out. That's a sacrifice. And that is what this man is all about, right? I don't say all about, but he utilizes that. He utilizes that effectively when he does anything that appears to be good. And how much quote unquote good has been done under the banner of so-called Christianity, which is truly pagan Christianity. That's the reason why. And you say, well, this is a change. It's always been this way. Realize, what does it say here? And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. It didn't say at the last, he will start to do wickedly. He will start to do wickedness. At the last, unfortunately, gosh darn it, jolly wow, whatever. He's going to unfortunately, gosh darn it. He became wicked. He was doing so good, He was off to such a great start and things were going so well until he became wicked at the end. No, he was always wicked. It was a deception. And anything he did that appeared to be good was to support that deception. And like I said, manufacture trust. That's one of the things Esau talks about. Manufacturing, or we build trust, in the words of Klaus Schwab, at the WEF. Okay? That's what he's about. Because if he does good, a lot of times he won't do good. But if he is doing something good, it isn't really good because it is for the purpose of better positioning you for the checkmate. And that's how you know it wasn't good. Okay? It wasn't good. And that proves to you right there, he's never doing good. Okay? It's only the appearance of good, right? If you look at it, Barakati Yahbashimashah 1144, if you look at it in an isolated context, you may be able to say it's good, but it's not isolated. Okay? It's not isolated. So therefore, it is not good. That's the reason why it says over here, just a couple of chapters over, and I could get the whole thing, but I'm not going to get caught up into it. Okay? Let's try this again. I don't have time for this. I need the phone to act right. I need the apps to act right. Okay? That's why it says this. Never trust. Let me see, man. What in the world does never mean? Does never mean most of the time don't trust him? Does never mean don't trust him except for when he's doing something that looks good, you think is good, might be good? Or does never mean never, no exceptions? You know the answer, or I can't help you. Never trust thine enemy. That's not my enemy. You're a lost cause, man. That is the face of your enemy right there. And sometimes he looks different than that, right? Okay, because not all Edomites look like that. Some Edomites have melanin. Okay, but most of the time, that's what an Edomite looks like, talking about that skin color. Okay, and that's pursuant to Genesis 25 and 25. And you can link that up with Revelation 6 and 4, and also Isaiah 1 and 18, and also Genesis, the 4th chapter, where Cain was marked by the Heavenly Father, which you go into that word for mark in the Hebrew, and it means a distinguishing characteristic. And of all the nations, out of the 18 nations, there's only one nation that looks like that. That's your distinguishing mark. Going back to Genesis, the 4th chapter. Every other nation has melanin in their skin normally. They don't have to go out and lay down with the women of the other nations to get melanin. That's what this man does. That's the reason why. And he has the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. And so he's the top man on the planet right now, as you can see by the position that this man holds. He's the top man on the planet right now. And that's the reason why he can go out and lay down with the women of the other nations. And all the other nations have melanin in their skin. Normally. That's normal for them. They're the only ones that don't. Right? And that's how, when he does that, and he does that for 2 or 3 generations, he can even, well, he only has to do it for 1, and he's got some melanin in his offspring. But if they don't keep doing it, then that melanin will go away, right? You know, in the subsequent generation or 2, it'll go away if they don't keep doing it. But if they keep doing that, laying down with the women of the other nations for 2 or 3 generations in a row, and then, you know, they don't stop doing it too long, then their offspring, through the men, will have melanin in their skin as well. But that's the only way they can do it, and they have to keep doing it to maintain it, right? All the other nations have melanin in their skin to varying degrees, yes, but they all have it, okay? All right, even if it's a little, but they all have it, and most have it more than just a little, right? Some more than others, though, right? But we are to never trust our enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Just as certainly and surely as iron rust, so is his wickedness. And you can go on. This is a great passage, but I'm going to move on because I'm already clearly not going to get through hardly anything compared to what I wanted to get through, right? So now, one other thing I wanted to touch on before I get into the 2 Thessalonians 2, and Lord willing, I'll have time to touch on Revelation, the 16th chapter also. All right, because those are the 2 main things I wanted to touch on. And I also wanted to touch on this, but I'm going to touch on it just briefly. As it is written, you know, according to the words of Yahawashi Mashiach, all right, you know, and this should make sense, a corrupt tree cannot bear good fruit. Neither can a good tree bear corrupt fruit. All right. Now, Roman Catholicism, let's liken that unto a tree. Okay. Roman Catholicism is a tree. Is it a good tree or is it a corrupt tree? Well, you should be able to know by now. Okay. He is declaring his wickedness, man. They've been declaring their wickedness for quite some time now. And it's just getting, the declaration is just getting more and more clear, right? How can it get any more clear at this point, right? This is a wicked, corrupt tree, Roman Catholicism, okay? So can it bear good fruit? Answer, according to the words of Yahawashi HaMashiach, no, it cannot bear good fruit. It is a corrupt tree. But see, here's the thing. Now that you understand that, here's the thing that you also should understand. All of, I'm going to call it what it is, pagan, and that's the reason why, you know, you say, well, how could he say that? I mean, even the pagan religion, absolutely, because that's what they are. Roman Catholicism is pagan. So all they're doing is just I mean, it's no problem to accept other pagan religions into your pagan religion, you know. It is, after all, it is called Catholicism, isn't it? Which means universal, which means for all. Okay, so yeah, this fits. This makes sense, right? So, pagan Roman Catholicism, all right, is a corrupt tree. But guess what comes from Roman Catholicism? All of pagan Christianity, so-called modern day Christianity, comes from Roman pagan Catholicism. You already said it. Okay? You already said it. A corrupt tree cannot bear good fruit. Telling you that all of modern day so-called pagan, all of modern day pagan so-called Christianity is corrupt through and through. Now, doesn't that fit why under the watch of pagan Christianity, America, Babylon the Great is a Christian nation, you know? Doesn't that fit and explain? You might not like it, but doesn't that make sense? And doesn't that fit? Doesn't it snap into place? Ooh, that satisfying snap or that satisfying click. You know, when you're trying to put something into place and it's like, man, it isn't fitting. And then all of a sudden, snap, you hear that and you're like, okay, that snap, that click right there, let me know that this is it. That's in there and it's in there good and it's a perfect fit and that's the right piece, right? And that's what you hear in the spirit here with pagan Christianity. Because when you find out that it comes from Roman Catholicism, if you didn't already know that, I saw myself, it was this Pope here, okay? Shortly after he took over from the previous devil, and I think they got rid of him because he just looked too demonic, and he did look demonic. Okay, he was like, man, he's not he's gonna blow our cover with his demonic grins, his demonic maniacal grins. And you can look up the pictures of the previous Pope, and he looked like a devil. And I was like, he's kind of giving us away with his look. I think we need to replace him with somebody that hides it a little bit better, a more jovial, friendly, type of a Pope. And that's what. And then shortly after that picture of him looking maniacal and diabolical and demonic was being widely circulated. Shortly after that, they replaced him with this Pope, which that's a highly unusual occurrence for a living Pope to step down, right? And I'm sure that picture has something to do with it because he looked extremely demonic and maniacal, right? And he was giving them away with that, okay? But I heard this Pope say, I saw it and heard it myself, and he was on one of the televangelists, one of the leading televangelists, broadcasts. This might have been like, I don't know how long he's been in office, but it was relatively early. I'm just going to say something like 7, 8, maybe 10 years ago. Whatever it was, however long he's been, maybe a year or two after that, I saw him on this broadcast from one of the leading televangelists, pagan Christian televangelists here in America. And he was telling all of Christianity to do what? Come home to mama. Come home to mama. All you Protestant Christians, come home to mama. That's what he was doing. Telling them all to come home because they come from Roman Catholicism. That's why they're called Protestant religions, denominations rather, right? And that includes the non-denominationals, right? They're just a spinoff from the Protestants. That includes the independent, fundamental, Bible-believing Baptist, right? That includes them all, right? They all hold to core tenets which come from Roman Catholicism. Every last one of them. They all do. Even the ones that will denounce Roman Catholicism and talk about how wicked Roman Catholic, even the ones that'll say Roman Catholicism is wicked and satanic, and even them, they're holding fast to tenets that come from Roman Catholicism. So the Pope here, this wicked minister of Satan, he is very, very, very much well in his right to tell them to all come home to mama. See? Modern day pagan Christianity is just that. All of it, every last bit of it, through and through. And doesn't that make sense? Don't you hear that satisfying click, that satisfying snap right into place? Because under the watch of pagan Christianity, what has happened here in America? Has America, Babylon the Great, gotten more holy and more righteous under the watch of pagan Christianity? I'm having a little fun here, right? If I wanted to give you the fair shake, I would leave the pagan off, right? But no, I put the pagan right in there. Okay? No, that's the reason why under the banner and under the banner of pagan Christianity, I'm putting the pagan in, that's because what it is, but they would just say Christianity, and under the watch of Christianity, and especially in the Israelite community. Okay, the so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, Hispanics, Native American, Seminole Indians, right? A lot of the so-called Latinos, Hispanics, Native American, Seminole Indians, especially the Latinos, Hispanics, they go right for the Roman Catholicism, right? Right? They like to go right for the source, right? Right? But especially, what has it done for us, our people? What has it done for us, the true Israelites? Under the guidance and the tutelage and the headship of Christianity, how has it benefited us? How have we as a people gotten better under this, idolatry, because that's what it is. All right. And that's the reason why we have not gotten better as a people. We've waxed worse and worse and mightily and greatly worse to the point that we are today. That's the reason why the alphabet lifestyle and agenda, which is highly abominable in the eyes of the Most High, is rampant in the pagan Christian church, including in the pagan Christian so-called black church and so-called Latino, Hispanic, and Native Americans as well. Okay, that's the reason why. That's the reason why under the tutelage, under the headship, under the banner of pagan Christianity, America, Babylon the Great, has done nothing but wax worse and worse and worse. Okay? If pagan Christianity was righteous, which we've already clearly demonstrated that it's not, okay, then how in the world has America, Babylon the Great? Yeah, I'm just putting all the answers right in the question. All right, how in the world has America, Babylon the Great gotten to the point that, you remember you watching a movie and all of a sudden, things just get completely and totally out of hand. Things get completely and totally off the hook and off the chain. Cats and dogs living together, rain going sideways and stuff. It's like, and then one of the characters will look around with this bewildered, baffled, dejected and rejected look on his face and say, how did we get here? How did America, Babylon the Great get here? Because Christianity is pagan through and through. And the man at the helm is the son of perdition, the man of sin. Which takes us to 2 Thessalonians, okay? The second chapter. And I'm going to try to step through this relatively quickly and then get over to, I'm going to try to, and then get over to Revelation 16. And that's all I'm going to get tonight. I have a lot more I want to get, I could get, but that's going to have to be sufficient, right? Now, I'm going to try to get through this quickly because I do want to get over to Revelation 16. So we're 41 minutes in. So let's go. Now we beseech you, which means beg or make an earnest appeal, brethren. Okay, by the coming, and that word brethren is important. Okay, brethren, according to the flesh, my brethren, according to the flesh. Brethren is not talking about someone. Well, it is. Okay, I'm gonna be a little detailed here, and then we're gonna get moving. Okay, brethren is not solely based off of belief. Okay, because that's how it's used in the pagan Christian church. Oh, you're my brother. You believe in Jesus? You ask Jesus come into your heart. You're my brother, and I love you, brother. I've heard that bullshit, and it makes me sick to my stomach, okay? So it's not solely based on that, because it is based on that. You could say that, but it's not solely based on that. There's another very important prerequisite prior to that. You got 2 boxes to check, not just one, okay? And so you got to check the first box first, or otherwise you're all screwed up. What's the first box? According to bloodline, okay? According to the flesh. You must have the same forefathers first, okay? So if you have the same forefathers, and who's the forefather of the Apostle Paul, who's writing this to the believers at Thessalonica? Because you didn't know that? All the believers at Rome, all the believers at Colossae, all the believers at Galatia, Ephesus, Philippi, Thessalonica. What am I forgetting? Did I say Philippi? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Anyway, they all were Israelites who were in a heathen Gentile, or most commonly referred to in the Old Testament as a foreign or strange state of mind. Therefore, they were called heathen or Gentiles, but they were Israelites according to lineage, heritage, bloodline, birth. They were Israelites, right? And they were the descendants of those that had been forcibly Hellenized during the Greek captivity. They had been forcibly Hellenized under penalty and threat of death. And in case you say, well, it was a threat, but they never would have done it, the scripture tells us in the Maccabees, first Maccabees, second Maccabees, many actually were put to death for continuing to call themselves Judeans, Israelites, says Jews, but that comes from Judeans, okay? Those that were dwelling in Judea, okay, of the southern kingdom, all right? Okay, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And many who refused to be Hellenized under the penalty and threat of death said, you know, look, what we're gonna do. And there's always somebody that just wants to make a lot of goddamn noise, man. See, these are heathen, man. Heathen. I was like, how are you going so fast down this major road anyway? All right. And where's the cops when you need them? It's still accelerating. And still making noise. I mean, he must be way the hell down the road by now because he's going at high rate of speed, but I still hear him. Anyway, completely and totally threw off my train of thought. But anyway, the point is, when it comes to this brethren, you got to be of the same lineage, heritage, bloodline, and birth. And then once you check that box, in order to truly be a brother, you have to also believe the same thing, which is this truth. Okay, this truth. Right, then you're brothers. If you're a heathen and you say, well, yeah, I recognize the truth, you know, that doesn't make you my brother. All right. And although on some level, those that are of our nation are our brothers according to the flesh, because they're not in this truth, the Most High has rejected them. Jeremiah 15:1-3. And he sees them as heathen right now. He doesn't see them as Israelites right now. Okay, which means that they're not my brother. They're not your brother if you believe this truth. In order to truly be a brother, what made these Israelites of a heathen or Gentile state of mind, what made them brethren to the Apostle Paul? Right? Number one, their lineage, heritage, bloodline, and birth went back to Abraham. Their lineage, their heritage by bloodline and by birth went back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, just like his. And then number two, they were believing the gospel that he was preaching. That's what made them his brethren. Both of those things, right? And I think that's what I was saying. They have been forcibly made to follow the customs of the Greeks. Okay. That's why they were being called Greeks. And that's why the Apostle Paul twice said there is neither Jew nor Greek, Judean nor Greek. There is neither Israelite that remained in the land and continued to keep the customs and the laws, commandments, and statutes, nor Israelite that departed and followed after the customs of the Greeks. That's what it means when he says there's neither Jew nor Greek. There's neither Israelite that stuck with and kept to despite the threats and penalty of death, nor Israelite that departed from because of the threat and penalty of death and followed the ways of the Greek. There's no difference between the two. Okay, both salvation is open to both groups of Israelites. Because again, all the believers at Rome, Colossae, Galatia, Ephesus, Philippi, Thessalonica, and if I'm forgetting any, Rome, of course, Corinth. Yeah, I knew I was forgetting one. Corinth. They all were Israelites. Let's drive that point home a little bit further because it is a very, very important point. Okay. Moreover, brethren, who did the Heavenly Father deliver from ancient Egypt? Well, you should know. Okay. If you have any biblical acumen whatsoever, you should know that it was the Israelites. Okay. Now, yes, there was a mixed multitude that came with us, but did the mixed multitude enter into the covenant? Or was the mixed multitude, for the sake of time, I'm going to cut to it, man. No, only the Israelites entered into the covenant. The mixed multitude, any heathen that were with them, they became servants. They became servants to the Israelites. That's the case. And that's going to be the same thing in the kingdom of heaven. You can read Isaiah 14:1-2. Okay. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that. Now, is there anywhere in here where the Apostle Paul tells the actual literal heathen, okay, those that do not go back to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, is there anywhere in here where the Apostle Paul tells those believers to take a break, go out and take a smoke break, maybe come back tomorrow? This part is just for this part is just for the believers that are actually Israelites among you. Is there any distinction? Is there any separation? Is there any call or dismissal of any portion of the believers? Answer, no. So the Apostle Paul is speaking to who? All of the believers at Corinth, right? Yes. Moreover, brethren, and he calls them brethren. Now you know why. I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers. So the Apostle Paul, when he says our, that includes him. He didn't say all your fathers. He said all our fathers. That includes him as well. Okay, so all our fathers, my fathers and your fathers, okay, all of our fathers, mine and yours, brethren, were under the cloud. Okay, he's talking about in the Old Testament. Okay, yeah. And all passed through the sea. What sea? The Red Sea. Oh, man, okay. Well, there was mixed multitude there, though, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. Okay? All right? And did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Hamashiach. This is talking about being delivered from ancient Egypt and being brought into the wilderness and entering into a covenant with the Most High. Okay? That's only the nation of Israel. Okay? Only the nation of Israel. See? And you can keep on, and that's the context. So that's telling you right here that all the believers at Corinth, every last one of them was an Israelite by lineage, by heritage, by bloodline, by birth, that was being called a Greek or a heathen or a Gentile, because they had been generations ago now. Okay, generations ago, 200-300 years ago, they had been forcibly Hellenized during the Greek captivity under penalty and threat of death. And they saw the examples. Many were put to death, right? So many of our people, because they were scared and they didn't want to get put to death, they capitulated, they consented, they gave in, and they started and they became Hellenized, and they started to call themselves Greeks. Okay? But they were Israelites by lineage, by heritage, by bloodline, by birth, right? And so all of these things here were for the Israelites, okay? If you remove the Israelites from the picture, the Most High would have never done any of these things, and there would be no mixed multitude. So no, this is talking about the Israelites being baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, okay? And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock, Salakia, that followed them, and that rock was Hamashiach. Okay, this is all for the Israelites, the deliverance and salvation of ancient Israel, for Egypt from the Israelites. It was for the Israelites. So this is proving to you one easy way, one very quick and easy way, that all the believers at Corinth were Israelites. Let's move on. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord, Adonai, Yahawashi Hamashiach, and by our gathering together unto him. We're in the times of refreshing. Okay? We were gathered back then, and then things got messed up, fallen away. We're going to get to that here in a minute, right? And now what? Well, we're being gathered again. The way it puts it in the book of Acts is the time of refreshing. Okay? Refreshing, meaning to do again. Okay? And by our gathering together unto him, we're being gathered together unto him now. Again. That's the refreshing spoken of in the book of Acts. Okay? That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Well, what was the Apostle Paul saying? Well, during that time, it was a time of gathering. But wait a minute, Rahab, you said this is a time of gathering again, refreshing, right? Okay, right. But let's go back to the original time of gathering. Okay, and what's he saying? He's saying to the believers, the Israelite believers who have been referred to as Greeks. That's why he says that they were, past tense, in times past, Gentiles. Well, if you're a natural born Gentile, aren't you always a Gentile? Yes. But wait a minute. I heard this thing about being a spiritual Israelite. Where? Where's that in the scriptures? Find that for me. Okay? It's nowhere in the scriptures. Okay? It's nowhere in the scriptures. The only context in which there is a spiritual Israelite is in the context of a spiritual Israelite as opposed to a carnal Israelite. But if you're talking about a natural-born heathen that goes back to someone other than Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Jacob for simplicity's sake, you will find that nowhere in the scriptures. And if you think you found that in the scriptures, you're about to embarrass yourself. So don't do that. Okay? No such thing. All right? Let's see here. Where were we? That ye be not. So he's saying to them, look, don't be troubled. Don't be shaken or alarmed, right, in your spirit, okay, by a word or even by a letter concerning or get the idea because of any of these things that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. The day of Hamashiach is not yet at hand. So don't get alarmed. Okay? Let no man, and so look, let's, that thing which is then is now, right? Okay, so hey, we're now in the second gathering. This is a time of refreshing. So the Apostle Paul said, don't be soon shaken, don't be troubled, don't be alarmed. The day of Hamashiach is his hand, right? So we can say that to ourselves today, right? Sure, let's say that to ourselves today. We don't have to be alarmed. All right, but wait a minute, there's more that he said. Let no man deceive you by any means, because there's a whole lot of deception going on. That's the reason why even Yahushua Mashiach gave a lot of warnings. All right, that there's many false prophets, and they shall deceive many false teachers, and they shall deceive many. But don't let anybody deceive you by any means. Well, I ain't gonna let nobody deceive me, but then they come with especially effective means, and well, you allow that because these means, well, they held the key to your deception. No, don't let anyone deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. So hey, look, just like those, they didn't have to be soon shaken or be troubled, neither by spirit nor word. Hey, we don't have to be soon shaken either. We don't have to be troubled either. We don't have to be alarmed and get rattled either, right? Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. See, the day is not going to come. So we're cool. We can go on, and do our thing and live our best life now. Except there come a falling away first. Okay, wait a minute. All right, so that day is not going to come except or unless or until. That day, until, that's good. That's what they use over the NLT. That day is not going to come until, number one, there come a falling away first. What's that talking about? Well, whatever it is, you got to have that first. And number two, that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. But I thought that was talking about the Antichrist. See, it says that man. I already told you. Okay? A whole nation could be referred to in the singular. That man is referring to there is not the Antichrist. That man that is referring to there is Esau. But Esau is not just one man. He is and he isn't. In this context, he's a whole nation. Esau is a whole nation. And even the Most High himself directly providing that answer to Rebekah referred to the Edomites in the singular. Two nations. One of those nations was Esau. Okay? The Edomites. Right? That man of sin, the son of perdition, okay? The man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. That's this man right here. Esau, Edom, the biblical Edomites. And that's a representative, a very high-ranking representative of their nation. I think there are I think there's definitely more powerful, because the most powerful Edomites you're not going to see their faces. Okay. They're going to be staying in the background, lurking in the shadows, but he's pretty high ranking. Okay. But he's a high ranking representative of that man. He is that man. Okay. Okay. An Edomite. Okay. It's really talking about the Edomites, the son, Esau, of perdition, meaning the whole nation. Son of perdition. Perdition meaning what? Destruction. Okay? It says over there in the NLT, the one who brings destruction, and that is true, but that's not what it means. It means the one who is born unto perdition, born unto destruction. As the Apostle Paul puts it in Romans, the 9th chapter, the vessels of wrath. Wrath in what sense? Fitted to destruction. All right? Or fitted to perdition. Let me get it because I can't remember exactly how it's worded. Romans 9. And I'm going to go a little bit long tonight. Okay? This is all good reading. If time, you say, if money was no issue, if money was no concern, then we'd buy everything. Well, if time was no concern, I'd read everything, okay? But of course, we're very limited on time here. Excuse me if I'm consumed in my responsibilities, right? Let me see, where was I looking for here? Let's see here. Yes. Yeah, here we go. There it is. The vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. Now here the NLT gets it exactly right. Who are destined for destruction. And that's the same thing it's talking about over there. Fitted meaning created. That's what the fitted means. Okay. Fitted means created to destruction or for destruction. Okay. All right. And that's why the NLT words it more clearly. You say fitted to destruction. What does it mean, fitted to destruction? The wrong side, get the right side. No, created for the purpose of being destroyed, who are destined for destruction. That's what it's talking about, right? And that's what it's talking about over here when it says son of perdition. They are the ones created for the purpose of being destroyed. See, the NLT doesn't get it exactly right here. Although what it puts is true, that's not exactly what it's saying. Okay, so wait a minute now. Okay, it was a gathering back together back then, and now this is the time of refreshing. We're being gathered together now. And then they didn't have to be soon shaken or be troubled because it wasn't the time back then. And as long as it's not the time now, we don't have to be either, right? That's right. But okay, so that day's not going to come. Okay, but except something happens, or until, that's a better way to put it. That day's not going to come until something happens. 2 things to be exact. So are those things happening now? Well, you already know. The man of sin, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, generally speaking, as I've already explained, they can have melanin in this time, and sometimes they do, but usually they don't still, right? But sometimes they do. Okay? The man of sin, the son of perdition, Esau Edom, in his bloodline descendants through the lineage of their fathers be revealed. And he is revealed. He is revealed. And he's declaring his wickedness. I heard one of these Edomites say, we know that at the end we're going to have to run naked to the finish line. Meaning that when they get real close to the finish, they're going to have to finish their job, finish their wickedness exposed. The emperor has no clothes. Their ass is going to be hanging out. And turn away. You don't want to see it. All right? It's disgusting. Okay? It's a beast ass. All right? But they already understand that at the end, they're going to have to let it all hang out. Okay? He's revealed. Let's try to pick up the pace. I might not have time for Revelation 16 tonight, but I'll just tell you what it's talking about. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped. Yeah, he's at the top. So that it says God, right? But it's really talking about God's representative, the Most High's representative. Let me show you that real quick. I got to pick up the pace, okay? I can't go all night. I can go all night. I'm prevented from going all night by the things that I have to do. If it was up to me, I'd go all night. Or until the Spirit, said, you got to get some rest. All right. But I'd go if it was up to me. All right. But I have to get to bed at a certain time and get up and, grind. All right. Let's get this word here. You see it's theos. I forget which one is, let me see here. I forget which one is plural and which one is single. Theos or theon. One is plural, one is single. But anyway, I want to get straight to the point, okay? Because we're over an hour, and I need to wrap it up here. All right. Let's see here. 4a, that's hitting it. The Most High's representative or vice regent, which is another more fancy official way of saying representative. The one who can speak for the Most High. That's what it's really getting into here. And is that not what this man is presenting himself as? The vice regent or the representative of the Most High? Isn't it not their position that the Pope speaks for God? That's what it's talking about, man. The Most High's direct representative on the earth when he's actually a minister of the spiritual demon Satan. Okay? Why is it not giving me whatever. That's what it's talking about here. So that he, as the Most High's top representative, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High or his top representative. And really, ultimately, he's going to drop that representative and present himself as the Most High himself, which goes back to Isaiah 47 really quick, okay? Because I can't help myself. That's why. Isaiah 47 really quick. Let's see here. Where is it? This is all good, but there's a specific verse I'm looking for. Here it is. 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures. Esau, Edom, America, Babylon the Great, his top chief capital city on the planet right now. Okay. In his revived Roman Empire 2.0, America, Babylon the Great is the capital city. Rome itself 2.0. Okay. Therefore, here now, I think about that, the Gladiator, the movie with Russell Crowe. And at the end, the woman said, Rome is an idea. You know, hey, Rome 2.0 is an idea that has contaminated and infiltrated this whole world. That's the reason why no matter where you go, you're going to see American influence. Okay. And usually pretty heavy. Therefore, hear now this, that are given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, America, Babylon the Great, and the man in control of America, Babylon the Great, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, generally speaking. I am, and none else beside me. So yeah, it just dropped the representative. I am God. I am the Most High. Okay. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. And you... I love the Most High's answer to that. You can read it in verse 9. But you think so? Those exact two things are going to come to you in one moment, one day, in their perfection. All right. And it said, yeah, in their perfection. I love it. Okay. But that's exactly what it's talking about over here. Let's try to pick up the pace, right? I'm having too much fun, right? Showing himself that he is the Most High. I am, and none else beside me. Man, who talks like that? Only the Most High and the goddamn devil. Right? I wonder what's going to happen to him because of that. The son of perdition, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, Apostle Paul? Don't you remember I told you this? And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. Right, because let's get verse 7. For the mystery, yeah, it's a secret. It was a secret back then. And it was a secret all this time, all the way going up, all the way up, 100 AD, 200 AD, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800, 900 AD, 1000 AD. Keep going, still a secret. 1100, 1200, 13, 14, 17, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 1900 AD, still a secret. All right, well, slow down though. 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940, still secret. 1950, 1960, still secret. 1965, 1966, 7, 8, 9. Boom. Secrets being revealed. But only a few people know. Okay? But somebody knows now. Now the secret's revealed. All right? Now he's telling others, teaching others. Teach 7. That 7 teaches others. Those others teach others. Now it's revealed. Okay? 1969, 1970, that's when this truth came on the scene. Okay? See, but back then it was being withheld by the Most High because it wasn't time to be revealed back then. Okay, and it wouldn't be time to be revealed until almost 2,000 years later. That's the reason why the Apostle Paul said it's a mystery of iniquity. But it doth already work. It's already at work. What do you mean it's already at work? Well, I already told you that the man of sin, the son of perdition, okay, is the biblical Edomites, the descendants of Esau, Edom, through the lineage of their fathers, right? That's who it is, and it's revealed now. But it says here, the mystery of iniquity doth already work. It was already work back then. Oh, well, who was in rulership back then? Okay, well, that would be the Romans. So what's this saying? It's telling you that those Romans who were in authority back then, that's who it is. But it was a secret back then. Okay? And if it's the Edomites today, the so-called white man generally speaking, well, who ruled the Roman Empire? So-called white people. Okay? Easy to prove. Okay? Rome, the empire of Edom. Written books on it. Okay? So that's why he says the mystery of iniquity doth already work, because the wicked, the man of sin, the son of perdition, the wicked, okay, all right, the descendants of Esau, they were in power back then, but it was a secret who they were. Okay, everybody knew that they were the Edomites. Everybody knew that, and they were in power before that as the Greeks. Everybody knew that they were the Edomites as well, but they weren't calling them Edomites usually because, well, they were presenting themselves as Greeks. But it was known that they were the descendants of Esau, though. That was known. And they're identified. Let me prove it to you. Let's go to, see this is why I need to not have all this BS on me, man, so I can just flow in spirit. Okay, let's go to First Maccabees, the 4th chapter. Now, let's prove that this is talking about the Greek Empire. Okay, and it happened 1-1, and it happened after that. Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, right? Okay, he wasn't, originally from that land. Who came out of, read Micah 2:2, who came out of the land, and Habakkuk the 2nd chapter as well, and who came out of the land of Chetam, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, the Medo-Persian Empire, right? Okay, your 4 beasts, right? First beast is what? A lion, okay? Had wings on it, right? Okay, the Assyrian Babylonian Empire. Second beast, what? Okay, second beast was the bear on its side, 3 ribs in its mouth, Medo-Persian Empire. 4th beast, leopard, also had wings, right? 4 wings, 4 generals, right? Okay, that's the Greeks. That's where we're at right now. Okay, and then you got the next beast, which it was just called a beast. It wasn't called a bear, lion, nothing. It was just called a beast, right? Fearsome and dreadful, right? Iron teeth and all that, right? That's the Roman Empire. But here we're at the leopard, which is the Greek Empire. That's where we're at right now. Okay, the Greeks took down the Greeks took down the Medo-Persian Empire. And by the way, it's Medo, not Medio. Okay, it is not Medio. It's Medo-Persian. Look it up. It's Medo-Persian, not Medio. That he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. So this is the Greek Empire. All right, this is all I wanted to show you. Okay, good reading, right? But come on, man. As much as I want to, I can't go all night. Let's go over here. I want to show you something, right? We're going to prove to you that these are the Edomites. And they set there a garrison to keep it and fortified Bassura to preserve it, because there was a lot of battle going on because of those that didn't want to be forcibly Hellenized. Okay, you had those that were wicked and evil, and they were more than happy to be Hellenized. And then you had those that didn't really want to be Hellenized, but they was like, well, we don't want to be killed either. And I see they killed a bunch of our brethren and sisterin over there, sisterin, brothers and sisters over there. So, we don't want to get slaughtered. So I guess we have no choice. I guess we'll have to do it. And so they capitulated, they consented. But then you had those that didn't they did not agree, and they did not consent, even under penalty of death. And so there was a lot of battling going on. They were waging war with the Greeks, and they set there a garrison to keep it and fortified Bassura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against who they fighting? The Greeks. But what are they called here? Idumea, the Greek way of saying Esau, Edom in the Greek, right? So it was known that they are the Edomites, right? That's why it says here, and it was also known that the Edomites transitioned to the next empire, which is the Roman Empire, which is the great and dreadful and fearsome beast. So it was known that they were Edomites as well, but it was not known that they were the wicked. The mystery of iniquity doth already work, but it was a mystery back then because, all right, yeah, the Edomites in rulership, but who are these wicked you talking about? It wasn't known. And it wasn't known for some couple thousand years later. We're in the time when it's been revealed, starting when this truth was returned to us and given back on the scene, returned to the earth back in 1969, 1970. But it took time for it to build up and make its presence known as it is today. And now, it's like even the goddamn devil himself, even the son of perdition, the man of sin himself, I'm trying to get that to go up. There you go. Even he's declaring his wickedness and making it known. Okay? That's how late we are. That's how close we are to the end. Salakia. Right? For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let. In other words, he who is preventing the mystery from being revealed will continue to prevent the mystery from being revealed until he be taken out of the way. And that's the Most High, of course, through his angels, which are down here on the earth, controlling the events that take place. Everything, they're making sure everything down here on the earth happens according to his plan and according to his will and his word and his way, right? So once those angels that are making sure everything happens according with the will of the Most High, which means it's the Most High doing it, right? Using his angels to do it. Once they're removed out of the way, then now the mystery can be revealed. Okay? For this lawlessness is already at work secretly, and it will remain secret until the one who is holding it back steps out of the way. See? It's not a bad way to put it. And then, that then was 1969, 1970. And the men of the Lord have been teaching each other first this truth, and now we've begun to proclaim it throughout all the world. And it's completely and totally rocking this whole world. Not just this part of the truth, but all of this truth that we're preaching. And that's why the end is here. Okay? And this gospel of the kingdom, not the gospel of pagan Christianity. The gospel of pagan Christianity has lapped this world for centuries, multiple times, going around the world over and over and over again for centuries. No end has come. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. I'm paraphrasing. Why? Because, all nations get saved, right? Yeah, all nations get saved as long as they're Israelites. Salvation is only for Israel. And Israelites are scattered where exactly? To the four corners of the earth, amongst all the heathen nations. That's part of our punishment. To the 12 tribes scattered abroad. So that's why this gospel of the kingdom is preached unto all nations, so that the Israelites that are scattered amongst all nations can hear this gospel message and repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's not for the natural born heathen. It's only for the Israelites that are scattered amongst them to the four corners of the earth. Boom. You know it makes sense. And then show that wicked, we're in the then. And this wicked is talking about the Edomites. It isn't talking about no one man called the Antichrist. There is no such one man. No such one man. Okay? But wait a minute. Doesn't it say over in Revelation, the 13th chapter, that he had a deadly wound and deadly wound was healed? Yeah. If you believe that doctrine, you just as dumb as that voice I was having fun with. You just as dumb as that voice sounded. Okay? And I'm going to show you why. I'll give you a little bit of slack. If you still believe it after this, then you're just as dumb as that voice. And I saw one of his heads. This is one of the main, along with that one, and I think maybe one other. These are the main verses that pagan Christianity uses to push that false doctrine of this one man being the Antichrist. And I saw one of his heads. Stop right there. This man, who's going to have so much charisma, he's going to be handsome, he's going to be kissing babies, he's going to be saving and rescuing cats out of trees. Everybody's going to love him. This man is as great and awesome and lovable. Everybody's going to fall in love with this man. As great as he is, he's got more than one head, though. And I saw one of his heads with an S. Well, damn. That's strange. How are we going to have a two-headed man and everybody's going to love him and want to Hand him the keys of the planet Earth. Who said anything about two heads, man? Okay? Who said anything about two heads? Let's go up to verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads. So this Antichrist, this one man who all the world's going to love and worship and fall at his feet, he's got 7 heads. Right? No, man. It's not talking about no one man. It's talking about the Edomites. Okay? It's talking about the Edomites. This beast represents all of his empires and kingdoms spanning thousands of years, starting with the Greeks, the Romans. We already talked about those two, going to Germania Major, Germania Minor. That's 4. Then the French, the Spanish, and the British, the UK. And out of the 7 comes the 8th, which is America, Babylon the Great. That's the 7 heads. So what's this talking about then? And I saw one of his heads, all right, one of the 7. Which one? Rome. As it were, wounded to death, because Rome fell. Split into 2. You had the Eastern Roman Empire, which they were calling the Holy Roman Empire, because that's where you get Roman Catholicism from. They were calling themselves holy, right? But of course, as we've been already bringing out and establishing here, it couldn't be further from the truth. It's unholy through and through, pagan, idolatrous, and wicked through and through. But, I mean, you're not going to deceive many people if you call yourself pagan and unholy and wicked, right? So that's part of the deception, right? The Holy Roman Empire, that's the deception right there, right? That was the Eastern Roman Empire. And then you had the Western Roman Empire, which was the pagan Roman Empire. That was the part controlled by the Edomites, because eventually the Israelites, we started to take over, right? After 70 AD, enslaved us for a while and everything, but then, started to take over. And ultimately, the Roman Empire split into 2 sides. The eastern side was ruled by us, the Israelites, all right? And from that, you get pagan Christianity and ultimately Roman Catholicism, right? But then the western side was still ruled by the Edomites, and it fell, and it went down hard. That's what this is talking about. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death. That's the Roman Empire, ruled by the Edomites, one of his heads. So this was a portion ruled by the Edomites, his referring to Esau, Edom. And his deadly wound was healed. It came back. The Roman Empire, the Roman Empire came back. The Roman Empire ruled by Esau came back, and we're living in it. This is the revived Roman Empire 2.0. And within the revived Roman Empire 2.0, which in this time is worldwide, you have the capital city, which is Rome itself 2.0, which is America, Babylon the Great. Rome is an idea, right? And that's the reason why the idea or the influence or the image of Rome is spread and infiltrated and polluted and infected this whole entire world, earth, planet. And his deadly wound was healed because it's back now, bigger and better than ever. And all the world wondered after the beast. Let's try to wrap this up. And then shall that wicked be revealed. We're in the time of that then. We're at the very, very end of the time of that then. It's about to all be wrapped up. Okay, that's what one of the earliest things I said is that we at the end. This is the end game, man. Okay, this is not slacking. That's weak. That's weak. It's strong, but it's weak in comparison to what I'm trying to say. To say that it's the end. It's been the end for a while, right? I want to say something much stronger than that. That's not what I'm saying. This is the end of the end. This is the very, very end. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the end of the end. Okay? Whom Ha'adawan shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. That's what's happening now. Every time I, myself, and any of my brethren, the other hopeful elect men of the Lord, do video epistles going into exposing who this devil is. He's being consumed by the spirit of the mouth of Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay? That's what it's talking about. When we go out on the highways and hedges and we expose this man for who he is and the wickedness that he does, when we do these video epistles and we expose this man for who he is and the wickedness that he does, that's what that's talking about. Okay? So we're in that time. The man of sin, the son of perdition, is revealed. I forgot to touch on it. Like I told you, I got a lot of things going on in my mind, right? They're falling away first. Jeremiah 17:4 is the precept. We're running up on an hour and a half. You can go read it, but that's talking about us, the Israelites, falling away from our heritage and losing everything that has to do with making us a nation. Okay, we lost everything, including our identity, including the very knowledge of who we were. We didn't even know who we were anymore. Okay, that's what the falling away is talking about, a departure from our heritage, Jeremiah 17:4. So in other words, both the things that need to happen before the day of the Lord are done. Okay, we're at the end. And not only are we at the end, all right, we're at the very end, not the end of the end, the very end of the end. So the day of Mashiach is at hand. 1 Peter 4:7, Revelation 1:3. Start at 1, go down, points in 3. What else? Okay. 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, and other precepts. Okay. So we're at the end. Okay. If you're not alarmed, get alarmed. Okay. So everything, 2 Thessalonians 1 and 2, that applies, right? Okay. But when you get to 3, okay, now you see that it's different, right? Now you got to go back up to 2 and say, well, that was for them back then. That's not for us today. The day of Mashiach in this time, during the time of refreshing, during the second time of the gathering, the day of Mashiach is indeed at hand in this time. Back then it wasn't, but now it is. It is at hand in this time. Okay, so there's a difference there, and a very major key difference too. Let's wrap this up. And then shall that wicked be revealed, we're in that time, whom Adonai shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, you know what that's talking about now, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's up next, very soon. Even him, in other words, for emphasis, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. This, look at the NLT, excellent job here. This man will come to do the work. Come on now. There you go. Goodness gracious. There you go. This man will come to do the work of Satan. This man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power. It's real power, but it's counterfeit in the sense that it's wicked, and signs and miracles, right? Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, with all power and signs. That all has a context to it. It doesn't mean he's all powerful like the Most High. No, it just means with regards to what he needs to do here on this earth. When it comes to making things happen on this earth, he has that. He has power to do whatever he wants. He has all the power here on this earth in this time. He's the top man on the planet. And signs, right? You can look and see. Well, look at that. Look at this. Look at all these things he's able to do. Look at all these people that are following him. Look at all these people that are listening. Look at all these miracles. It's a miracle, right? Because when you see miracles, power, signs, and lying wonders, right? You see miracles over there, it's not always talking about supernatural events. Although this man can delve into the supernatural through the power of left-hand side demons, which are angels on the left-hand side. They can do that too. But hey, look, most of the time it's things that are not necessarily supernatural in that sense. But it's a wonder, because you look at it and you're amazed. You're like, wow, not that it was necessarily supernatural, although it could be, but a lot of the times it's not. It's a natural thing with a natural explanation, but it's like, well, nobody can do that, or nobody had the power to do that. And then he does, because this is that man whose coming is after the working of Satan. He is demonically empowered by the left-hand side. And the top left-hand side angel or demon is the spiritual demon, Hashatan, Satan, the adversary. And he's demonically empowering his representatives. He's presenting himself as the representative of the Most High, but he's actually the representative of the spiritual demon, Satan, here on earth, with all power and signs and lying wonders. And that's as far as we're going to have time to get. I was planning to stop at an hour, and I'm already a half hour over that. The Revelation 16 we'll have to touch on some other time. All right, but it has to do the 3 unclean spirits like frogs, talking about the false prophet, has to do with and that's Revelation 16th chapter. Let me just show it to you real quick, and I'm going to wrap this up. All right, here you go. The unclean spirits like frogs. That's because high level demons. Going to Ephesians the 6th chapter, principalities and powers and all that. In high places. This man is demonically empowered, and there are 3 places on the earth where high level wickedness, high level demons, high level spiritual beings in wickedness are operating from and controlling men to do their bidding from those locations. And the top 3 locations would be the 3 city states on the earth, which would be the Vatican, okay, which you see this man here, right? So he's demonically empowered to do what he does. Everything he was saying in that opening clip was a goddamn lie. Everything. Okay? So you got the Vatican, okay, which is the religious center, okay? And then you have the UK, which is the financial city, center, which is also another city-state. And then you have the Washington, D.C., okay? All right, here in America, Babylon the Great, which is the military center, okay? And that's what it's talking about. All 3 of those, you have men that are being directly controlled and empowered and influenced by high-level spiritual wickedness, high-level demonic wickedness to do the bidding of the spiritual demon Satan, okay? And that's why it tells you in the next verse, for they are spirits of devils, right? But the devils are working through men, all right? And the men that they're working through are the men of the nation of Esau, Edom. The men, there you go, the men of the nation of the Edomites. And here's one of those men in one of those locations with high-level demons utilizing him, all right? And that's the reason why now here at the end, he's declaring his wickedness, and even a blind man should be able to see it at this point, okay? All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Before I do, want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rechak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching, pushing this truth out to full corners of the earth. Out of one brother Zah, this lesson was edifying and encouraging to you, Akim, and any Akwaf that may be listening and or watching. Ayashme Akona, Azanyim La Shemai Shemai. Let him who has ears to hear. Kwam Yasharella, Babakusha, Abad Baba Etha, Wakar Adawam. Shalom Lahabakarium. Shalom.